Hey everybody, it's the Good Doctor, and we're back once again for episode 104 of Wrestling with Wrestling. Joining me once again this week is my good friend from up above, Sean McPike. Sean, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really well. I've had a good week since we last did the show. And I'm ready to go. I had a very enjoyable week watching wrestling.
Oh, you didn't catch any of that feedback because a video started in my ear.
No.
So it's been a really, really busy week for wrestling. We had Money in the Bank. We had Monday Night Raw. We had NXT.
Yep.
We had some breaking news this week.
Some big news.
Well, let's go ahead and start this. We're going to start with Money in the Bank.
Yep.
I think, Sean, you won with predictions.
Yeah, I got 4 of 8, and you got 3 of 8.
Yes. So you won by 1. But let's break this down. We had the pre-show matchups, which was the Golden Truth versus Breezango, and Breezango, of course, is heavily burned.
Yeah.
But so this is fairly an easy win. Golden Truth goes over Breezango. We had the Lucha Dragons. This was unannounced. Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this was a really good match, but the Dudley Boys are doing what I think they have always have come back to do, which is establish some of the modern day tag teams. And I don't know why they're helping the Lucha Dragons at this point, but for some reason they are. But the Lucha Dragons defeat the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, I agree. I love that the Dudley Boys are back. Helping younger tag teams and helping to build a tag team division. But it is kind of weird that it's the Lucha Dragons because, the Lucha Dragons, I think, are kind of popular. I don't need a whole lot of building, I don't think. I think they just need to be used. So, but I enjoyed the match. I like the Lucha Dragons. I like Hunico as Sin Cara, and I like Kalisto. So, and of course, it's the Dudley Boys. You can't go wrong with the Dudley Boys.
Well, that leads us into the actual show of Money in the Bank, and we'll go through this fairly quickly. But we have the four-way tag team championship match, which was the New Day defending against Enzo Amore, Big Cass, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, and the Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
Of course, the New Day pulls one out here. So I think it was a really good matchup between the two, between all four, except for that. There seemed to be some flubs in this match for the night. So, and I really don't want to point fingers because I had to watch it over and over again. I really don't know who to point fingers at. I just know what the cameras show.
Yeah, and the cameras caught a lot.
Yeah, and I don't really want to have to bust the balls of Luke Gallows, who's a good friend of mine, who I've worked with so closely. But this show, that's what it's about. We're watching the top product, and if you're on that top product, you are open to critique. And
I agree.
And I am sorry, but and the most famous comment I got, I guess, was that he looked like a WWE 2K16 video game glitch.
Oh, I didn't see that one. That's good. Yeah, I think up until that end, it was a good, 4 tag team match. But and I think, not having the time in the business like you do, but what I've heard, from people, when they tell you you've got so much time left, you've got so much time left. And I wonder if they were told, take it home, and they're just like, well, we're not set up for the ending. We're not set up for the finish we were planning. And so they kind of went on a spurt and something went wrong and they tried to capitalize on what went wrong, or I don't know.
Well, I'll have to review this one more time now since Monday Night Raw passed, because I have maybe a different theory upon it, that maybe something that Carl Anderson did might have caused the whole glitch in the first place. I'll have to rewatch it, because he certainly is going to pay the punishment on Monday Night Raw, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We have Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. I got this one right, with Baron Corbin winning. Neither one of us got the tag team.
Yeah, you picked Enzo and Cass, and I picked the club, and I was very surprised that the New Day retained.
Mhm. But
So.
when they start mentioning when they started mentioning the record,
The record, yeah, I agree. Once they kind of mentioned that, I'm like, oh, I called it wrong.
yeah.
Because I mean, the tag team, the guys who have it, which is Brian Kendrick, and I can't remember who the other one was now off the top of my head.
Paul London.
Paul London. Okay, I was like, oh, those guys aren't with the company right now, so it would make sense for them to want to, make it with somebody who's in the company.
Mm-hmm. But again, we have Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. This is a matchup we've seen several times before, and
yes,
I think maybe Baron's going to be moving on to different things now that he's done with Dolph Ziggler. But he does win this match with End of Days. And you got this one wrong because you picked Dolph Ziggler thinking he was going to win.
I thought they would do a 3-match series, and the classic is, you go into the third match even 1-1. So I was wrong, and I hope you're right. I hope they move Baron on to new things. I think he is quickly learning his place, I think, in the ring. He's learning how to work, and I mean, Dolph's one of those great guys to put him against because Dolph seems to be able to work with just about anybody, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that Baron is going to, within the next year, need to trim down the hair because if he doesn't, he's going to get the Hulk Hogan look, And then when I say when I say the Hulk Hogan look, I refer to it doesn't. You're not balding; it just looks like your hair is sliding off the back of your head. It will finally drop off at the top of your ass.
Yeah.
Let's go into some women matches. We have Charlotte and Dana Brooke against Natalya and Becky Lynch. You got this one right with Charlotte and Dana Brooke. I went with the fuck it method here and picked Natalya because they needed to win. But then you had Natalya turning on Becky Lynch at the end of this matchup. So that was something different. Original idea is what I'm hearing rumored on the internet was they were going to turn Becky Lynch, but apparently they didn't do that.
Yeah, I'd heard that. I also heard rumors that this is Natalya's swan song to leaving the company, and because who knows if Tyson's coming back. But I think she kind of tweeted out that that rumor wasn't true, that she's not leaving. But who knows? In the end, I was quite surprised with them turning Natty on Becky. I definitely did not see that coming.
I see no benefit in turning Natalya heel. Honestly, I don't. Maybe it's because Sasha Banks is coming back for return. Maybe that's why they want to level out the playing field since the Bellas are now gone. So
maybe
all up in the air.
Maybe they decided they need a heel women's wrestler other than Charlotte, so that you can kind of I don't want to call Natty mid card, but I mean really a mid card heel for the women to work up to and then beat and move past to go towards Charlotte or whoever is the champion at the time.
Next up, we have Apollo Crews, who definitely took one over on Sheamus. I did pick Sheamus. You picked Apollo Crews in this one. It appears that what I said was wrong. That Apollo could afford the loss, and they are going headstrong with trying to push this guy. But good for him,
Yeah.
I mean, without a storyline, without a character, this guy's just a kick-ass wrestler, and that's nice to see, especially since he's a black wrestler. You don't see that very often. Even New Day have a gimmick. So this is a guy who has pure fucking ability and gets one over on one of my favorite tough men, which you guys should go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Honestly, I mean, I know
matinee.
Yeah, okay, man. I don't care how you see it, or you can wait 3 months and buy it for $20, cheaper than what you could pay for for two of you.
That's true.
Shit. Just buy it on fucking DVD in 3 months.
Red box it.
I own the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah,
so
I own the originals as well.
I mean, who directed that? Was that Michael Bay?
Michael Bay did these ones, yes.
Yeah. I mean, he gets a lot of slack, but as Epic Rap Battles has said on their channel, and you should go check that out. Michael Bay jumps on and says it's all about the motherfucking money. He gives people what they want to see. So I'm not going to complain about it. He's made some the Transformers and shit. I was all down with because I'm nostalgic about that shit. So
I was down with the first one. The first one.
But he's going to make the sequel. Whatever. someone's fucking doing it. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Someone's gonna make it.
One of the movies I have always wanted to see remade, but I thought you could never touch it because of the epic soundtrack to this movie was Flash Gordon. But if someone out there would just fucking do it, I would respect it because it's been laying dormant for so long. It needs that movie needs an upgrade.
Yeah. That one's definitely a dated movie. So
let's move along to AJ
let's
Styles.
get back on to wrestling.
Yeah, AJ Styles versus John Cena. Oh, AJ pulled one out here, but it wasn't because of his own accord. The club interferes after a ref takes a bump.
Did the ref take a bump? I mean, the angle that they gave us, it looked like he did, but I don't think he did. I think it was a complete whiff.
John Cena probably said, turned to the referee, says, "This is where you take a bump," and you know, because John Cena talks too much.
Yeah. I caught him talking too much on the turnbuckle.
No, absolutely. I mean, this match, it's like he acted, to me, I was watching him closely, and he almost acted like AJ Styles wasn't capable of fucking running a match with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he was leaving him the whole way.
It makes me think that John Cena is not capable of doing a match unless he's telling the other person what they're supposed to be doing. That's
what it is. After 10 fucking years of cookie cutter wrestling, after doing the same thing night in and night out, he forgot how to fucking go out there and do a impromptu match.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles can still do that. Why? Because he's fresh out of fucking Japan.
Yeah. And he's better.
Well, yeah, he is better. John Cena can wrestle.
Yeah, he can. You know, he's got the 5 moves of doom, but those 5 moves work. Well, we both picked Styles on this one. And I think we both kind of predicted a situation with the club.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, neither one. Well, I didn't pick anybody from the club, but I picked someone that could possibly be new. But the club interfered nonetheless. But let's move to the Money in the Bank match. This match was pretty good. I mean, it's not. I've seen better in my years because you know you had people like Edge and Jeff Hardy who I absolutely fucking hate with a passion. But you had other people in this matchup. Kane wasn't in this matchup. But yeah, I mean, he's competed in the most Money in the Bank matchups. But nonetheless, this had some pretty good face-offs in this match. But we end up with Dean Ambrose. Surprise, because I picked Kevin Owens to take it the whole way. You know, because I see good storylines going that way. But you know, Dean teased it, and he fucking did it.
Yep, and I picked Ambrose purely because you picked Owens. Last week, I felt it was either going to be Owens or Ambrose. And, you know, you picked Owens. So I was like, oh, I'll go with Ambrose, you know. And I got right. This, you know, I think most ladder matches, especially when you start to add a bunch of people, basically are just spot fests. It's, you know, what can we get someone to do off the top of a ladder? Or how many people can we powerbomb through a ladder? And, you know, it's all right. I enjoyed the match. I typically enjoy a ladder match. I really liked Sami Zayn putting Kevin Owens, Michinoku Driver, onto the edge of the ladder. That looked really good.
It's not as good as his what is the halfplex powerbomb thing he did?
Yeah, not as
WrestleMania to put it like and of course Kevin buries his head in the fucking ladder. That
one was really good. But the
whole setup, the whole setup they had was really good. I was just completely nervous the whole time. I'm like, as they're doing their maneuvers and using that whole platform with the ladders, I'm like, oh my god, one of these is going to collapse. And it wasn't until Kevin Owens hit it that it finally did collapse.
Exactly. You know, and then Del Rio had a really bad spill right at the end of the match, and you know, rolled out. And as soon as you know they had that wide shot of Ambrose holding up the briefcase, you could see the ref and the doc, you know, ringside doctor getting Del Rio into the back. You know, they had to get him checked out. So I haven't heard if he was injured. Maybe it was, you know, a stinger or whatever it was. But you know,
no news have come in from Alberto Del Rio. But you're right. The cameras caught it all, and we all could see. Yeah. See. Let's move on to Rusev versus Titus O'Neil. We've seen this one coming. They've been building for weeks. But what happens? what happens? Rusev shames Mr. Titus
Oh,
O'Neil
yeah.
because you can't build a storyline for this guy. Except for some, I mean, he does great things for the WWE, but falls short in the big matchups. And afterwards, Rusev goes out because Titus made the mistake of bringing his kids there, and that right there was a telltale sign that Titus probably wasn't going to win because WWE these days likes to shame you. You go to your hometown, you're probably going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So your kids are there, you're probably going to lose. Remember when Bret Hart's parents were there and Owen,
Yeah.
they
Does that count? Really, I mean, it was Bret and O. I mean,
well, no.
One of them lost.
I guess, it kind of equals out the parents' feelings because one kid wins, one kid loses. But their kids are involved, and that's makes the parents proud. But yeah, I mean, of course, Rusev goes over. I picked Rusev. You picked Titus O'Neil, so I got this one.
Yep, I did. I thought they'd give it to Titus because Father's Day and this whole campaign of him being a great father, but it was Rusev really just controlling a lot of the match. In my opinion. So, I mean,
he's a Bulgarian brute,
Yes.
I mean, I love the way they're pushing him. So he needs successful title defenses. Unfortunately,
yes, he does.
Unfortunately, it's against Titus O'Neil, who, I mean, they need to build him up properly before they give him shit like this.
Yeah, they can't go, oh, you're a great father, so you'll be a great chance at United States champion.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah.
Last was our main event: Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm sure everybody was shitting with glee at the end of the night because Seth Rollins not only beat the crap out of Roman Reigns, he had his moments, but he 1, 2, 3 pinned that bitch cleanly.
Yes. I really enjoyed this match. I think Roman did a great job. I mean, Seth, we've seen Seth over the last year and a half or whatever. He does a great job. He's another of those guys. He can probably work with anybody. And I don't know if just he and Roman work well together or Roman's finally, getting stuff figured out or what it was. But I really felt this was a good match. I don't want Romans to be the champion. I don't want Reigns to be the champion, but he was doing well. Yeah,
I mean, he went through his normal shtick and did his thing, and I mean, Roman's just one of those guys. It's like you hit the traditional Samoan moves, and between that, it's punch, 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 clothesline, 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 and rest holds. It's really boring. The thing about Seth Rollins is he's innovative, man. He hits his high knees that look fucking devastating. He runs. I mean, it's just like a never stop attack. However he needs to. I mean, it's just he does so many things during a matchup that you forget by the next time the next match that you're probably seeing some of the same shit he did last time.
Yeah,
because he gives you so much to see.
Yes.
But yeah, a well-deserved win, but not fucking long celebrated because Dean Ambrose, the winner of the Money in the Bank matchup, comes down, cashes that in, has a bit of a scuffle, drops him 1, 2, 3, and Dean Ambrose wins and leaves that night Money in the Bank as WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, he does.
I mean, really, the crowd went ape shit. I mean, they would have done the same thing with Seth Rollins, but Dean is the good guy they want because he's established as a good guy.
Yeah. Then I was reading online that someone had posted this is the first time in 2 years that the face champion was actually getting cheers. So I mean, 2 years isn't that long, but I mean it's pretty telling. But if you remember last week, I said if Ambrose wins Money in the Bank and then Rollins wins the match, look out for a cash in.
Yeah, but we both picked Rollins.
We both picked Reigns.
We both picked Reigns on this match. So
I think we went with what we expected from the company this time.
True. But congratulations, you did win our matchup. But let's move to Raw. Monday Night Raw, live from Phoenix, Arizona, which opens up with Dean Ambrose pulling in so slightly in a cab, in a Phoenix cab. gets out, grabs his bag, closes the door, starts to walk away, doing those things that he does with his mouth. But then, oh my God, he has a flash of brilliance and remembers that he left something in that cab. And what was it?
Forgot,
the World Heavyweight Championship.
He forgot the belt.
But he makes his way down the ringside, and of course celebrates with the fans and everything, and talks about all of the trials and tribulations, the challenges he had to overcome to get to that. Also brings up to get to where he is. Also that he had to win Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say? That Roman was the guy.
Roman is the guy. Seth is the man.
So what's that make him? Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, no, he's the dude. That's a whole Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
But, and of course the crowd goes crazy with it, and they start chanting, dude, dude. And it doesn't last long because Roman Reigns music hits. He comes down and he does what all former champions does. He wants that rematch.
Yeah.
He gives credit to him. The crowd booing the shit out of him, gives him the "You can't wrestle" chant, and he actually turned. Oh my God! This is why you don't get the fuck over Roman Reigns. He turns to the crowd, says, "You need to calm down, have a drink of your beer, and shut up."
Yeah.
Then of course we're saved by Seth Rollins coming down. He wants the same thing. He wants the rematch. Don't know who to give it to, but Shane McMahon comes out. He's running Raw this week. Seth's nowhere to be found. And he makes a number one contenders match between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the main event on Monday Night Raw. And the winner will go to Battleground. Now, I've already made comments to what I thought was going to happen at Battleground because I'm going to be there. But yeah, the winner's going to go to Battleground to face off against Dean Ambrose for the Heavyweight Championship. What did you think about this opening segment?
I mean, it made perfect sense to me that, both Seth and Roman deserve a rematch. So, they're going to come out and tell the champion, I want my rematch. I kind of saw where they were going to go with it. I mean, instantly I'm just like, okay, I know how this is going to end. I know how they're going to do Battleground. But I agree, Roman, why you can't get over is because you can't be the good guy. You can't be the face of the company, the champion, and tell the crowd to shut up unless you want to be a heel.
Yeah, they should just go ahead and do that. But of course, they announced that there's going to be we've all heard about this, the brand split coming up. Of course, this will probably change the programming after this because that'll be a whole lot of, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, be a whole lot of fucking things to talk about. But they announced that there's going to be a live draft pick on the July 19th episode of SmackDown. So that should be really interesting. But that leads us to our first matchup for the night, which is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Wow, can we start a match? Can we start a night of Raw? Oh, and by the way, during that last segment, Michael Cole did comment when Shane McMahon came out that this is how you start a Monday Night Raw. I just wanted to make a comment to that because I called it, Michael Cole, you fucking bottom feeder. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, a great matchup between these two, as they can always prove to us that they can go one-on-one time and time again. I mean, it's the same thing with the Shield. These guys grown up in the business together. They know each other. They can go out. I have friends like that in the business as well that I could just get in the ring and I can work with them because I just know what they do. But wow, Kevin goes for the pop-up power bomb. Sami reverses that into a roll-up. I accept it. I accept that roll-up. It was an innovative roll-up, and I'll accept that. 1, 2, 3. Gets the pinfall on Kevin Owens tonight. Doesn't even get a chance to celebrate on the ramp as Kevin Owens kicks his freaking head off. That's my boy, Kevin Owens. Yes. That's my boy. Kicked his head off. Oh, my God. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't be happy with that either. I mean, Jesus Christ.
But kind of a sneaky win for Sami.
And no, he got a 1, 2, 3. It was fair, but I'd be mad about it too. That's Kevin's trying to do his thing. He's been there for a while, and he don't want his spotlight stolen by Sami. He did that shit to him in NXT. He don't want fucking Sami to come here to WWE and do the same thing to him. He's not going to allow that to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, and I really like how this match ended. I think they're probably going to put it into at least one other match, maybe at Battlegrounds between these two guys. You know,
Well, no,
they work so well together.
we needed to make this match because it's always been those two in like multitude of guys matches.
Exactly.
We've always seen like taste of those. It's like when Kevin had that belt, I said, oh, and he was defending that belt, I always said it should have been concentrated on one guy, and that would have been Sami Zayn. You should push that feud. So now the belt's off of Kevin, so you can finally give us a feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. You know, we're finally going to get that. It's just not going to be a title involved.
I agree.
John Laurinaitis makes an appearance for the evening.
Laryngitis.
Mr. Laryngitis wants you to know that he is quite capable of the power of the people. Could go ahead and run SmackDown for the evening. But Shane comes out, money. He's like, he's crazy.
Yeah, it's like,
what are you, crazy? I'm going to be the guy running SmackDown. So John Laryngitis finds it, that's fine. Oh, it's wrong over here instead. Hey, power to the people. And then he is relieved. But it was a nice little spot. It's obviously just one of those things to
like they've been doing with Kane.
To push SmackDown, push the live SmackDown. That's
exactly. Coming. Yeah. God, I hate that guy's voice.
Oh, man, I like John Laurinaitis. I really do. I mean, if that's the role he's going to play, it's better than his wrestling career. I mean, you know,
Johnny Ace.
He can get heat on the mic, so that counts. So they're using him where he's needed. Next up, we have a big tag match between Enzo and Big Cass and the Vaudevillains. There wasn't really a whole lot of offense here. I mean, Enzo got his ass beat the whole way, and I've said it once again. When he was hurt, Big Cass proved that he was on the cusp of being. He could be a big star. He's showing that they push him. He main evented a Raw. So it wasn't until the big tag, Big Cass comes in, and him and Enzo hit the rocket launcher in 1, 2, 3 and beat the Vaudevillains. Not good for the Vaudevillains.
Yeah, not good for them.
Yeah, but I love the Vaudevillains. I really do. I call the Vaudevillains. I keep saying, I've been listening to vaudeville music, so and it's just getting in my head. But yeah, and Enzo and Big Cass definitely deserve to be pushed. Yeah. But why didn't you put them in there with the Lucha Dragons?
Or the Usos?
Or Social Outcast? Where the fuck are they?
Or the Shining Stars?
Oh, definitely the Shining Stars. What a fucking waste there. We didn't even get a promo this week.
Yeah. And you're complaining?
No, I just you said Shining Stars, and it definitely that reminded me that nobody fucking saw them this week. AJ Styles comes out next, and of course he's talking about his big win at Money in the Bank over John Cena. But of course he feels like it was tainted because he really wanted that match. He wanted that credit of beating John Cena, but that was taken away from him when Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows came down and interfered in the matchup. So it's like he signed his name on a contract. They drew it through the mud. He wanted them to come down and apologize to them. And they, with confusion on their face, did apologize. But that wasn't it. He also wanted to apologize to John Cena. And with hesitation on their face, I guess a little heartfelt sincerity on Carl Anderson's face saying, I'm sorry, they apologized to John Cena. John Cena thinks it's complete bullshit. And AJ, of course, wants to prove that he is true to his word by giving him a match for the night against anyone in the club, except for AJ.
Because he's got to be healthy for the Stone Cold podcast,
which I haven't watched yet, but check it out on the WWE Network. Is it good? Is it good? Okay. But so John Cena says, he's just looks like he should have just already fought the club. That's what's about to happen. AJ stops that real quick, says, no. You're going to face Carl Anderson tonight, He thinks they're going to be on the outside of the ring. AJ promises him that they're not going to be around ringside. Mm-hmm. So what'd you think of this? I thought it was pretty good. I think there's heat here.
Yeah, I definitely do. John Cena has been, pushed as quotes himself as, honesty, loyalty, and respect. And clearly AJ Styles wanted to show John Cena respect. That, I'm sorry, I didn't know the club was going to get involved. I didn't tell them to get involved. But, and You can take it out on whoever you want, just not me.
But that gives us our matchup: John
Yes.
Cena versus
Versus
Carl Anderson. We come back from commercial with this match already in progress. This is a whoop down. Very little offense by Carl Anderson. And of course, John Cena hits that AA, and as soon as he does, that's the run in by the club. Oh,
Yep.
They broke their promise. Did you really expect anything
Exactly.
less?
Yeah.
Break their promise, beating down, giving the Magic Killer. Not only that, giving the Styles Clash. John Cena eats Matt one more time for the night. What'd you think? That was brilliant. That's good stuff. That's John Cena working. I mean, tell you, he's no Triple H.
Exactly.
He's better than Triple H.
Yeah. This is, I think this is John Cena, willing to, eat some Matt for an evening or two to really help push another guy in the company and help the company itself make money. And I very much look forward to the next match that they're going to have together, because it's going to happen. I mean, John Cena's not going to let this go.
Did I mention I'll probably be at the next matchup at WWE Battleground taking place in
it'll
Washington?
Probably be it. It'll probably be at Battleground.
Washington, D.C. I'll be there live. I'll be videotaping some stuff secretly, so don't tell anybody. But I will post that on their Wrestling is Wrestling page. Last time I went to a main event with my friend or a show with my friend, I took a lot of pictures, videotaped a little bit of things. Very little. I don't do full matches because I don't want to really, You need to go out and see a live event if you've never seen a live event.
Yeah, I went to my first Raw a few years back, and it was definitely a game changer for me.
Well, Raw moves into a little bit of a ladies' night here. Becky Lynch is backstage. She's looking really good. I don't know what it is about her, but she's got this tank top on. It almost looks like she's flat chested, but she looks like she's got big ass muscles, and she is just she's a little bit down on her look, and she's just like looking down. It's like, I'm tired, I'm so disappointed, but I'm not going to do this. I'm not gonna stand here be disappointed. I'm gonna pull the knife out of my back. And by the time she says that, Natalya comes rushing in and says, "You think so? Eat this one, eh?"
Yeah. Your impersonations are on point.
No. No. Well, my accents tend to sway in the European style. It could go from Scottish to Irish, and then all of a sudden some words are coming out British. But but German is right on. But that leads us to a matchup between Mr. Baron Lands Corbin. Baron Lands has his forehead. Baron Lands.
Yeah.
Versus Zack Ryder. Was there any hope for Mr. Zack Ryder here, Mr. Woo Woo Woo?
Yeah, it's it's just a shame a former IC champion, just can't catch a break anymore.
He has got a great beard, though.
Yes, he does. I'm jealous.
That thing looks sharp. And where's Mojo Rawley when you need him? I mean, Zack needs to be in a freaking tag team. That's what he's flailing there. Just bring Mojo over and give the Hype Brothers a chance in the tag team division.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Mojo Rawley, but they make a good tag team.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Mojo either, But yeah, Baron smacks him with the end of days 1, 2, 3, and he
completely
moves
expected.
On. Yeah,
completely expected.
We have a ladies matchup between Charlotte and Paige. Paige gets that win last week, so she's going to get a WWE women's. That feels so good to say. Women's championship matchup against Charlotte. Oh, I love this match. The ferociousness of fucking Paige as she just attacked. It was so good between these ladies. I mean, that's what I want to see, man. Paige is raising herself up to that freaking level again, man. I've missed that shit. And then Dana Brooke, out of all that, Dana Brooke at the end of it, just what the fuck. And I was mad as hell because it was such that match was so fucking beautiful. And Dana Brooke messed it up by fucking up the foot on the rope.
Yeah.
But I mean, it did what it had to do. I mean, Paige got distracted and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" The
Mm-hmm.
referee did the right thing by throwing Dana. If something like that is just blatantly caught, the
Yeah.
referee did the right thing. No matter what, throw your ass out of the fucking arena. This, of course, distracted Paige. Charlotte hits the natural selection. 1, 2, 3, defends her championship. I still think it was good, although we had that little bit of, I don't know
Yeah.
whether to put the foot on the top of the rope or under it, or blah, 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 got blatantly caught by the fucking ref.
Yeah. I'll just hold it against the rope. But I agree. It was a really good match, and I think I knew with Dana Brooke at the side there was going to be some shenanigans going on, but there were moments I was like, wow, they wouldn't do a title change like this, right now. Not right now. I mean, that makes no sense, but definitely times I was like, I could be behind another Page run if this is the Page we're going to have.
Well, next we move into the Wyatt family. They are back. It is good to see Bray and the family back, saying we're here once again in Phoenix, Arizona. They come down, they're stronger than ever, and they're ready to conquer the world. But their ominous presence is completely, positively messed up by the New Day as they come out and they start their shtick. Xavier Woods at this during this interview looked like he was about to get hypnotized and drawn in. I don't
he
know
was
what
getting
was
drawn
going
in a
on
little
there.
bit.
Yeah, I have no idea what he was going through. And Eric Rowan has a big old booty. It's a little too much for me. I mean, I like the Wyatt family. It's just that whole genre of the New Day doesn't fit unless we're going to be going into a tag team title match, maybe down the road. But Bray says, like Rome, like all great empires. Listen up, America. Like all great empires, the New Day will fall. And it was creepy because Braun and Eric started clapping a very slow New Day clap behind them, which was really cool. But it was really good. I had heard that Bray Wyatt had lost some weight, and it doesn't appear that it appears that it found its way back.
Yeah, if he lost weight, I didn't notice. Maybe that weight was, they don't have Luke Harper anymore.
Oh man, I do miss Luke though.
I do as well. I mean,
there is a video online about some of his rehab sessions if you want to check that out. So,
my thing is, if this is leading to a tag team, championship match, is it going to be Rowan and Strowman holding the titles if the Wyatt family wins? Like, I don't know if I want those two. I mean,
they don't really sell very well.
Yeah. I mean,
Rowan Strowman. Rowan Strowman.
Rowan Strowman.
Anyways, we move into Titus O'Neil backstage. He is pissed off, man. Rusev disrespected him, disrespected his children. And, no, wait. Let me stop you for 1 second. Disrespected his children. He went down there and he gloated. That's his right as a champion. You can gloat. One of his sons, the one with the Butch Reed hairstyle, reached out and smacked. I mean, it was girly smack. I mean, honestly, it was a girlyish smack. and of course, Rusev let it go. Now, rules in the wrestling businesses do not touch the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So Rusev, being the bad guy that he is, really should have done something, but he completely let it go. But Titus is pissed off. He wants some justice against Rusev, so he goes out there one-on-one against Rusev next, and it's a complete breakdown, a fist fight, a street brawl. They're all over the place. This was no contest. It was all over. You expected this because Titus is showing that he's just absolutely fed up. He has doesn't have any respect, or it doesn't want to follow the rules. He's done. He just wants a freaking fight against Rusev, and that belt doesn't even matter right now.
I like it. I think it was great after what happened at Money in the Bank. I think it really works. You know, you got them out there in front of Titus's kids. His kids were still in the audience that evening. I saw them. I saw the haircut. And he's like, you disrespect me, you disrespect my kids, as he's beating up Rusev. I like it. There's going to be another match, probably Battlegrounds, where you'll be at.
Did I mention it was going to be a Battlegrounds yet? Next up, we have Jericho backstage, man, and he's doing his thing. He's like, "What? Shane, are you crazy? I mean, why do we have a monster like Dean Ambrose running? He put 69 packs in my Canadian bacon ass. You know, I remember when he was really tired of living in Canada and professed himself from being from Florida. Oh, yeah. Anyways, yeah, so he should be number one contender, and rightfully so. Jericho should be number one contender. I mean, I don't know who he's beaten recently. I mean, I know he's beaten up Dean Ambrose, and I know he's had some pretty significant wins since he's come back. But he didn't win Money in the Bank. Dean Ambrose, he shouldn't, so he's pushing it. He's tired of fucking Shane. He needs to go to Stephanie, find out what she thinks. Stephanie's not there. And, of course, he don't want to deal with Shane. So he'll just go to say Raw when he moves to SmackDown. Shane's going to be running both, so he's going to have to deal with him. He'd rather put up with 10 Stephanies than Shane. It was just a segment backstage. Nothing really significant here. I mean, no matches were made. It was a moment for Jericho. Yeah,
and moment for Jericho, and another moment for them to remind you that Raw and SmackDown are splitting brands again. I mean, I disagree. Jericho's current run, he hasn't earned a number one contendership. So Shane put it right to him. You lost to Dean Ambrose in the Asylum match. You lost in the Money in the Bank match, so you don't deserve it. Back to the bottom of the line.
It's a shame because Jericho is the best at what he does.
The greatest at what he does.
However he says it, eh?
He's a goat. He's a goat.
But we move to our main event for the evening, a number one contenders match against Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. The winner will go on to Battleground to face off against Dean Ambrose for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this is a matchup beyond all matchups. This was a really good matchup.
This was another really good match.
Yeah, I mean, Roman does his thing. Like I said, I'm not overly impressed with him. It shows with the fan base, the smart fan base. It's just rinse repeat with him. He shows very little initiative or innovative offense. Seth Rollins comes out of nowhere, can hit you with anything at any time. It's just it's not freaking like on a schedule of how you do things. It's like at first I hit the fist, and I hit this. It just he works off the clock. And they're beating each other up back and forth. Seth hit some brilliant freaking moves, close to two pin falls. They get the count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They get back in, go back out. And Seth Rollins breaks the count. Romans did that. He threw him back in, put him back out. Anyways, and then they finally get the 10 count, double count out. I saw this coming. I predicted it last week. Both of them. Shane comes out. He says, "This is not the way this match is going to end. We need a number one contender." Of course, Dean's in the ring. Says, "Look, this is not the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to call the shots. I'm the champion. I'll take one Seth Rollins. I'll take one Roman Reigns. Both of them." And Shane ups the ante. Says, "Like,
you'll take them both at the same time."
Yeah, I'll take them both at the same time in the same matchup. Set for Battleground. I predicted the triple threat match at Battleground for the Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be great to see these guys go. Maybe. Because this is how we ended it. Go ahead and talk about what you thought about this main event, and I will be right back.
All right. I really like this main event. The funny thing is, I actually saw this match before I watched the main event for Money in the Bank. I fell asleep during Money in the Bank, and so I went back and watched it just this afternoon, and it really felt like the same match in a way. Not as turned up as it was for Money in the Bank, but a lot of the same spots and whatnot. I really liked this one with Seth, the whole in and out of the ring, them working it, Roman Reigns going back out because he wanted the win. He wanted he didn't want a count out. He wanted to beat Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wanted to beat Roman Reigns. He didn't want the count out. And all in all, this match really worked for me. And Doc's back, and I didn't stutter step a whole lot.
Nice. Yeah, I was watching the video last week, and it's like, Doc's not coming back. I don't think Doc's coming. You get used to this. I mean, I'm actually a little bit better off than I was last week because
I have a degree in radio broadcast, not in television.
I have a degree in complete bullshit. But I thought Raw was actually pretty good. They're doing what they need to do, which is promote the live SmackDown and promote the next pay-per-view, which is Battleground. And they're starting to build those storylines. We see that we have one match already solidified for Battleground, and now we need a few more. But I thought it was a good Raw this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I was saying while you're gone, my only real major issue was I watched the main event for Money in the Bank this afternoon after I had already watched Raw this week. And so this main event and the Raw and the Money in the Bank main event kind of felt similar. I mean, they kind of had a lot of the same spots and whatnot, but all in all, this was a pretty good show. My favorite thing one of my favorite things I saw that evening on Monday night that we didn't mention was right before Enzo and Cass's match, they come out and Shane's still out after stopping Johnny Laryngitis. And they do, they kind of kick the shoes together and they both do, it's like, that's a nice little moment.
The whole kid and play moment. They do the whole kicking the shoes together. And of course, Shane does the little skipping thing just like Enzo does. Yeah, that was a pretty good moment there. You want to move to NXT?
Sure, why not? Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did indeed watch NXT. And I think I like NXT because it reminds me of, and honestly does remind me of watching Superstars back in the day. It's an hour programming, and they really cut to the chase, showing you matches and enhancing talent. Exactly, so I like that. They cut through most of the bullshit. But our opening matchup here, of course, it was Ty Dillinger versus Oney Lorcan, who I've never seen before. I definitely like his beard and bald look. He hits hard, and Ty Dillinger, of course, Mr. 10, is looking for a win here, but does not find one as Oney comes out of nowhere with a flipping neck breaker out of the corner, and what 3 pins Mr. 10. But I thought this was a really good opening matchup for NXT.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised. I kind of felt that, Lorcan, was it Oney Lorcan?
Oney Lorcan, yeah.
Oney Lorcan? I assumed he was going to lose. I figured this is going to be, they're going to try to repush Ty Dillinger, give him a win over what I thought was probably someone who, if he's not in the Performance Center, is someone they're testing out for the Performance Center. But yeah, I was quite impressed with Lorcan. I'm not sure on his look, but Well,
when I say that someone's drowning, in the talent pool, that maybe you should refocus where they should be, like maybe tag team. Of course, Tyler Breeze failing in WWE finds maybe new life with Fandango. So, I mean, maybe this could lead to something. Ty Dillinger and Oney Lorcan. I mean, honestly, I think that together they have a really good look. And maybe he can get one off. You don't see that anymore where someone has lost to someone and then gains respect. And they form a tag team together. I mean, Goldust and R-Truth didn't find their love for each other by beating the shit out of one another. Well, I mean, they had separate tag teams, but they really didn't fight one another. But I mean, I'd like to see more things from Oney and see exactly where he goes. I definitely like the way this guy looks. Next up, we see backstage No Way Jose, and he's talking about how Austin Aries shouldn't feel so down about his matchup, about his loss to Nakamura. Should get on the No Way Jose bandwagon. But that leads to our matchup with No Way Jose. He's going to go against Mr. Josh Woods.
I love the comment they make about this guy that he's his tattoos and top knot. They pull him out of the local CrossFit gym or whatnot. This
No Way
wasn't.
Jose's a pretty tall guy. I mean,
He is, yeah.
just standing next to Austin Aries during this whole thing was pretty impressive. I like his hairstyle. I'm not really sold on his name. It's a Santino Marella type gimmick name.
Yeah.
That's really going to need to change if you want to take him seriously. He wins this matchup fairly easy with a Cobra Clutch driver. Austin comes out and he's seeing the magic waves of No Way Jose. He wants to dance with him, and
dancing.
he starts, the best way a white boy can dance. He's out there doing the Rick Ashley thing, back and forth. Hey, we're never going to get you up, never going to let you down. And now I'm wondering if I can monetize this video. God damn it.
Yeah.
But, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Austin comes out, and he's playing. I think he played him a little bit too long. Got him up on the table, dance there. And, played him out just a little too long. Go ahead.
I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, I'm waiting for, Aries to attack him, waiting for it. And they start leaving. They're still dancing. I'm just like, wow, are they seriously? Is Austin Aries going to dance? Is he just, that's all is he changing? And then, they get over the table. I'm like, okay, here it comes. And they did it. They teased that way too long.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But finally, he gets his comeuppance and locks in Last Chancery on the ramp. And so we're probably going to see a matchup between Austin Aries, which really won't take him anywhere, going up against No Way Jose. I don't think that really advances Austin's career.
But it could advance No Way Jose's.
It could. If you do it the right way. I imagine it could. William Regal's backstage. He's talking to Shinsuke
Nakamura.
Nanu. Morke. But he's talking about his upcoming matchup with Finn Balor. They're going to be locking up. And when Buddy Murphy, not just Murphy anymore, Buddy Murphy comes walking in the room, and he says, he should be having a matchup of his lifetime. But that's not true. He's the one that should be sitting at that table, not Nakamura. Nakamura gets up. He says, "You want a matchup? I'll give you one." So we have a matchup booked for the evening, and it's a good matchup for Buddy at least. I mean, anybody goes up against Nakamura, but it's booked. Nakamura is going to go up against Buddy Murphy for the evening at the main event of NXT.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. Just build up to a match. I love that shit.
Yeah, it's just Buddy Murphy interrupts Nakamura's private meeting, and it's just all right, we have a match now. Very simple, very easy. Let's get it going. Don't spend too much time on it. And William Regal, be careful what you ask for.
Although, have we not seen the interruption of somebody's interview or meeting or something? It's like a roll-up. It seems to be playing out a lot these days. It's where someone's doing an interview and someone walks in and is like, "What are you thinking? That's so disrespectful. You're being a child." And they call him out on why this is my time. It's like that seems to be a recurring thing these days.
You're probably right. I think now I think about it, it does happen quite often, but I mean it does work at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And if you can keep it short and simple, I think this one worked perfectly. I agree. It was Nakamura talking to the head of NXT about his upcoming match. It was business, and Murphy interfered on that business, set up a match. It was a really simple build a match storyline, so it's good. We see Bayley's back. Bayley's been cleared by the doctor, not this doctor, but I'd have cleared her, baby. Cleared her good. I'd have given her a whole smile.
Yeah.
But that gives us a matchup. She's going to be in action tonight, and she goes in the ring against, I hope I say this right, Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it.
Well, okay, it's Deonna Purrazzo.
Yep.
But it's a warm-up match, and Bayley comes back nice and strong with a Bayley to belly win over Deonna, and it's really good to see Bayley back, and hopefully, although when she moved on, it's got to be heartbreaking for that girl to watch. The ones that she has really built the women's division in NXT with over. I mean, as of last year, all three of them were fucking was in WrestleMania. I mean, we've heard about this if you watch Breaking Ground on NXT Network. She talks about her disappointment. It's like, so you have this feel for her because she needs to be. I think she has a great fan base and needs to be on that main roster.
I definitely agree, and I think it's coming soon. I think they're going to give her a strong push Maybe towards the title again, maybe towards pushing somebody else towards the title, and then she's gonna go.
Mhm.
I am hoping that next year's WrestleMania we will have some waving arm inflatable tube men. I want them. I want them.
Well, we're going to keep with the ladies for NXT, which I definitely love. I love people with that ladies wrestling. We're going to see a big old, and I shouldn't say that, but I do like her. She's bigger than, she's not like your cut of the mill women's wrestler. I love Nia Jax. She's going up against Liv Morgan, who, you know, these are two women wrestlers besides Bayley and Nia Jax. I mean, I haven't heard of them. I'm not familiar with them. But this really was just Jax reaping her revenge from losing recently. Yeah. Smashes her with a powerbomb. 1, 2, 3 gets the win here. It's pretty easy for Jax tonight.
Yeah, just another squash match for Nia Jax. Just to, you know, kind of say she's still there. Probably going to have another title shot here soon. So, but I saw something looking online today that they bill Nia Jax as 270, I think, and that is heavier than more than half of the main roster's men. It's like, so.
And the thing about her is like they want to make her look really pretty. So I mean, and she does. Yeah. When they really focus on her eyes, which I think is a strong point because she does have beautiful freaking eyes. But they take makeup on her to make her look pretty, and I you know what, they did the same thing, I guess, somewhat to Bertha Faye, but it was a little bit wild. But they didn't hide the fact that she was supposed to be like a beast fucking wrestler. So, yeah. And I wish that Nia, they wouldn't try to pretty her up so much.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. They, you know, they didn't do that with Karma, and I mean, trying to think of other.
They did a little bit. You saw the makeup on Karma when she was in the WWE for that short amount of time. You did see it.
Yeah, she did have a short run. What?
Well, she got pregnant.
Yeah, and then she didn't want to come back.
That moves us to our main event of NXT for the evening. Mr. Buddy Murphy versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
King of Strong Style.
I want to say Shinsuke, but Shinsuke, it's a silent U.
Yeah. The same thing with Asuka.
Asuka, silent U. Got it. Thank you. But did Buddy stand a chance here? He didn't really get. He didn't really. Can't stand up against the King of Strong Style.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is fucking over like pancakes, man.
Yeah.
Over like, I mean, like Apollo Creed, he's not going to be hanging around on NXT very long.
Yeah. Nakamura was over with the crowd before he even stepped foot in the NXT ring. I mean, that first night he showed up at that takeover, you know, they were saying holy shit, holy shit, holy shit on his entrance. They love him. You know, and I really like his style. A lot of strikes, you know, not as much of a grappler. And I mean, which is bad for Buddy Murphy because he definitely seems to be more of a grappling wrestler compared to Nakamura. And he actually has the look of what you'd expect from a WWE wrestler of the past. You know, big build, you know, solid look. But I agree. It's Nakamura. There was no chance. You knew Nakamura was going to win.
Yeah. But that's pretty much wrestling for the week. But we did have that big story. Roman Reigns is suspended due to a violation of the wellness program. What the hell did we?
Yeah.
I mean, is this really a shock? I mean, it's almost a shock. We didn't really expect it, but I mean, Roman Reigns, of course, owns up to it and is embarrassed for him and his family and everything. But the big news is, he did recently lose the heavyweight championship. Is there a chance that WWE knew ahead of time that he failed the wellness program, which is why, I mean, but they did book the Battleground, but that's in 5 weeks. His suspension is only for 30 days, so he'll be back in time for Battleground at least for that match. So is this something they knew ahead of time? Is this something, I mean, we can only speculate, But
Yeah.
it is big news this week. Roman Reigns, the Golden Boy, the guy, the suspended guy.
Yep. I put it as the guy gets to spend the next 30 days on the couch. But I wouldn't be surprised if the WWE caught this, a week or two ago, and we're just like, well, we can't. We're going to strip him of the title before Money in the Bank, before this whole storyline we've been building towards since Seth Rollins' return. So, I mean, if they had the knowledge beforehand, kind of shame on them for not. Because would they have done it for anybody else? If Cesaro had been busted for something, would they have been like, "Oh, Cesaro got busted. He's out of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Let's put somebody else in."
If they're not wearing a belt, it doesn't mess up your pay-per-view buys or your television buys or your ratings, and then you're fucking suspended. You're out of there. But you got gold around your waist. It's a really fucking hard call business-wise because it's gonna affect you one way or the other.
So if they knew beforehand, it bothers me that they didn't make an example of him, I guess. But they we don't even know. At least I don't know what it was that he got busted for. Have they said anything like that? Have you read anything?
Nothing updated yet. Perhaps one of our viewers have got some information. It's kind of like his wrestling career. I didn't care about him being champion. I didn't care really about his push. I wasn't happy about it. The only thing I guess I am happy is he lost the fucking belt at Money in the Bank and he's been suspended. Why am I happy about that?
Yeah. You shouldn't be happy that the guy they want to be the champion isn't there.
Mm-hmm. Really way to show the top brass that you can be the guy. The guy that can't get over with the fans, the guy that can't follow the wellness program.
Yep.
Good on you, Roman. But that's wrestling this week. Did you want me to talk about a legend? We are a little early on time, but I don't give a shit. We can cut it early if you don't. I can talk about Mr. Chris Adams. That's the last legend I was going to talk about before this show got changed up.
We can do whatever you want.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do this. You familiar with Chris Adams?
I believe I am.
Let's try this. We're going to talk about Legend of the Week. Wow, I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Chris Adams, Legend of the Week. Adams first entered professional wrestling in 1978 with no true formal training, instead relying on his judo background. He worked for joint promotions and frequently wrestled on ITV's World of Sport show. Adams did have some championship success in England, winning the British Commonwealth Tag Team title with Marty Jones and the British Light Heavyweight Championship from Mark Rollerball Rocco. Adams also competed alongside many British wrestling legends, including Big Daddy, Dave Fit Finlay, Dynamite Kid, and Davey Boy Smith. He also engaged in a feud with Adrian Street, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, while competing in England. Chris also tagged on several occasions with popular favorite Big Daddy Shirley Crabtree and often competed against Tony Banger Walsh, who would eventually become his closest friend during his early days in wrestling. He moved to Los Angeles in 1981 to compete at the Olympic Auditorium, operated at the time by famed judo legends Mike and Jean LaBelle, for a few years. Initially, Adams wrestled barefoot, but after his initial tour of the United States in 1991, he began to use wrestling boots, arm pads, and knee pads, which he would eventually use for the rest of his career. He became famous for a wide variety of moves, including somersaulting out of arm bars, using backflips, diving through ropes to his opponent on the floor, using a lethal enziguri when his left leg was held, and for a powerful thrust kick, which originally was called a judo kick, later renamed by its more common name, a super kick. So that's Chris Adams, baby. Adams won the NWA America's title in 1982 and was NWA America's Tag Team title winner with Tom Pritchard and Ringo Rigby. He lived in Santa Monica and wrestled throughout the California coast in cards promoted by the LaBelles. He also wrestled for Don Owens' Pacific Northwest promotion, as well as being involved in several tours of Japan, Europe, Mexico, and Canada. By 1983, Adams was contacted by Fritz von Erich to compete in World Class Championship Wrestling. He joined the Dallas-based promotion on April 15th, 1983, wrestling twice that night, defeating Roberto Renazzado on the first. Hey, big dog in the house. You can mute yourself, brother. That's problem.
Sorry, I'll get that.
Okay. Defeating Roberto Renazzado in the card's opening match and the Mongo by disqualification later in the card. Chris was billed as being the pen pal of Kevin Von Erich and was also named by the Atkinsons as an honorary Von Erich. Adam was first introduced in WCCW during one of Bill Mercer's Outside the Ring interviews, when Adams and Mercer met for the first time at a local Dallas restaurant over a round of English tea and a 3-minute interview segment titled Tea for Two. Adams won his first 11 matches before losing his first WCCW bout to Kamala on June 20th in Fort Worth. His first tag match with the Von Erichs took place on August 19th, 1983, with Kerry Von Erich as his partner, and he often teamed with the Von Erichs in 6- and 8-man tag matches against the Fabulous Freebirds. Soon thereafter, Adams and Garvin began battling each other, with Ballet, Sunshine, and Precious getting involved. And in October 21st, 1983 match at the Sportatorium, Adams disguised himself as a masked Avenger to earn an NWA American Heavyweight Championship shot, which he eventually won at Reunion Arena on Thanksgiving. This was the first of 5 world-class American/world-class World Heavyweight title reigns for Adams. Following a loser leaves town match victory over Garvin on July 4th, 1984 in Fort Worth, Adams split his time between Dallas and Los Angeles, as his brother Neil was competing in judo at the 1984 Summer Olympics. In August, Adams hired manager Gary Hart, one of the great managers. We should talk about Gary Hart sometime.
Mm-hmm.
He eventually turned heel following a September 28, 1984 tag match at the Dallas Sportatorium. After Adams was pinned by Kevin in an October 27, 1984 match, he was offered a deal to fire Hart and all would be forgiven with the Von Erichs. Adams then grabbed a wooden chair and smashed it over Kevin's head. Good for him. According to Adams, the chair had accidentally broken in half, which resulted in a concussion and bleeding. Kevin eventually returned the favor to Adams a month later at Reunion Arena, and again, the chair broke in half on the impact, with part of the wood lodged in Adams' nose, very close to his eye. This resulted in an abrupt end to the angle. Adams later competed in a 6-man tag team match alongside Jake Roberts and Gino Hernandez, defeating Kerry Von Erich, Mike Von Erich, and Bobby Fulton, subbing for the injured Kerry Von Erich. During that match, the fans chanted, "Chris is a traitor," while others held Benedict Adams signs. However, he often competed as a face in Bill Watts' Mid-South and later the UWF promotion. Mm-hmm. In 1985, Adams, kayfabe, fired Gary Hart and began feuding with virtually every WCCW wrestler, face or heel. He tag teamed with Gino Hernandez to form the second version of the Dynamic Duo. In addition, Adams wrestled NWA World Champion Ric Flair several times, nearly winning the championship on 2 separate occasions. On one match, interference by the one-man gang cost Adams, who had Flair pinned for at least 10 seconds while the referee was distracted. Another angle Chris was involved in was a battle of super kicks with the Great Kabuki, who was brought in by Sunshine in her feud against Adams. While paired with Hernandez, Adams developed a gimmick that was later used by Brutus Beefcake, cutting his opponent's hair after a match. This led to an October 1985 showdown at the Cotton Bowl. That's so racist. Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where Adams and Hernandez faced Kevin and Kerry Von Erich in a lumberjack loses hair match, which was won by the Von Erichs. It resulted in Adams and Hernandez shaved bald, forcing the pair to temporarily wrestle under wrestling mask as their hair grew back. Adams and Hernandez split and engaged in a lengthy feud after this. During this time, Adam began competing in Gary Hart's Texas All-Star Wrestling promotion in San Antonio and eventually began his face turn. On Christmas night in 1985, Adams and Hernandez reunited to face the Cosmic Cowboys. During the match, Hernandez, claiming a knee injury, refused to be tagged in by Adams, who took a brutal beating at the hands of the Von Erichs. Adams deliberately threw Kevin over the rope to end the match. Remember those rules? Mm-hmm. Then slapped Hernandez for not tagging him and left the ring. This led to a January 27, 1986 encounter at the Convention Center in Fort Worth, where Adams and Hernandez faced each other with stipulation that the loser would lose his hair again, this time by having Freebird hair cream rubbed into the scalp. Adams twice refused to pin Hernandez, and while arguing with referee Rick Hazard, Hernandez threw some of the hair cream, actually a dark liquid substance, into Adams' eyes, causing Adams to win by disqualification. The blinding incident was used to write off Adams' time off to visit relatives in England, as well as go on tour to Japan before returning to Texas to continue his feud with Hernandez. However, Hernandez was found dead on February 4th, 1986, from a cocaine overdose. 4 days after Adams returned to England, he was questioned by Scotland Yard about Hernandez's death. But eventually, Adams was not considered a suspect, and Hernandez's death was ruled a suicide. On June 30th, while returning from a wrestling event in Puerto Rico, Adams headbutted an airline pirate, which resulted in a 90-day jail sentence and a $500 fine. During the fight, an intoxicated Adams became belligerent when liquor sales were stopped during the flight and had to be restrained by Kevin Von Erich. In March of 1986, Adams toured Japan and competed in several events for New Japan Pro Wrestling. These matches never aired on world-class television, as well as he was still selling his blinding angle. In April, Adams returned to Texas All-Star Wrestling and WCCW and several matches with Matt Bourne, Blackjack Mulligan, Kabuki, and Buzz Sawyer, and worked an angle with Rick Rude as well, during which he won the World Class Heavyweight title on July 4th. Adams held the WCCW title until leaving the promotion in September due to legal troubles, thus forfeiting the title. WCCW explained that Black Bart won the title in a match in Los Angeles that never actually took place, but would eventually lose the title to Kevin Von Erich a month later at the Cotton Bowl. Adams left World Class in September 1986 to join Bill Wise's Universal Wrestling Federation, which later absorbed into the NWA. Adams returned to World Class in late August of 1987. Let me go ahead and drop down here. We're almost there. Of course, we know that he worked a lot of independent promotions, Universal Wrestling Federation, Central States Wrestling he worked in, the United States Wrestling Association he had worked against some big names in the National Wrestling Alliance with Jim Crockett, going to WCW. Of course, he became, in 1987, he found his way over in WCW. Adams began competing in World Class as a mid-card performer. He was intended to become part of the Blue Bloods, a stable consisting of his fellow Englishman Lord Stephen Regal and Squire David Taylor, but the idea was short-lived due to a legitimate personal issue that Regal and Adams had with each other. Adams then feuded with Glacier in the Battle of Super Kicks and then locked horns with Chip Minton. Adams wrestled Randy Savage in the first match of the first WCW Thunder show in January 1998. He pinned Savage, but J.J. Dillon reversed the decision and awarded Savage the victory via disqualification due to Lex Luger's interference. Aside from that, he was primarily used as a jobber, and in late 1999, Adams was granted his release from WCW, unsatisfied with his role in the organization. He returned to Texas as a promoter and part-time wrestler, appearing for a time in the NWA Southwest organization. In April of 2000, Adams and his girlfriend of 4 months, Linda Kapens, I hope I said that right, were both found unconscious inside a friend's apartment, the victims of an overdose of the drug GHB and alcohol. Adams recovered, but his girlfriend died at a local hospital 10 hours later. Over a year later, Adams was indicted on a manslaughter charge, but on October 7, 2001, while awaiting trial, he was fatally shot in the chest during a drunken brawl with a friend, Brent Bore Parnell, in Waxahachie, Texas. Waxahachie, Texas. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I don't know either.
The gun owner claimed self-defense and was acquitted of all charges. Prior to his death, Adams was considered semi-retired, planned to move permanently to Florida and compete in a wrestling organization featuring several former WCW and WWE stars, including Hulk Hogan. Adams was also planning to produce, along with Gary Hart, Bill Mercer, Mickey Grant, and others, a pro wrestling documentary, which was to have included footage of wrestling matches dating back to 1930. So, I mean, this is a guy who he had accomplished a lot back in the old school days with a lot of those independent promotions, WCCW. So he and it's someone I'm familiar with. Really not from those old school days, but from his WCW days. I remember him, and yes, he was used as a mid card jobber But that, of course, when you get on YouTube, when you like somebody's work skills, you can get on YouTube and you can find a lot of those,
Yeah.
a lot of his matches on there. So that's what I would really recommend. If you're not very familiar with Chris Adams, you need to go ahead and hit up YouTube, type in gentleman Chris Adams, watch some of his matches. This guy is great. He's one of our great British. You like people like Davey Boy Smith, you're gonna love gentleman Chris Adams. I mean, he's a great British wrestler.
And he trained Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
He trained Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What? Anyways, go ahead.
I think they've also credited him with Scott Hall, but I don't think Scott Hall says he was trained by Chris Adams.
I'm not sure who's Scott. I would have to look that up. Yeah, because
I think it was Matsuda. Was it Matsuda?
I remember watching Big Scott Hall back in those AWA days. Man.
Yeah.
He looked like that jacked up Mike Brady. But yeah, let's wrap this up, people. So yeah, we've talked about wrestling for a good hour and 20 minutes, and I think that's enough for you. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. If you like what you see, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, like it, share it. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do. It is Piker Eyes, where I make mediocre Minecraft videos. Just type in Piker Eyes.
I got a good 4-hour nap, and I was up last night watching some wrestling, and for my last hour up, what did I do? I turned on Xbox and was playing Minecraft for about an hour.
Yep. No, I got my own YouTube channel with Piker Eyes. You can tweet me at Piker Eyes, So yeah.
Yeah, and with that, get over to our Facebook page, and that's facebook.com, Wrestling with Wrestling. Until next week, that will be Wrestling with Wrestling 105. We don't know where the world of wrestling is going to go, but we're going to be paying attention. We got our thumbs on the pulse of society, ladies and gentlemen. So this, for now, this is Doc Gregory. I'm signing out. That's my friend over there, Sean Pike. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for having me, Doc.
No problem, brother.